Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Madhava ki jai. Okay. I'm gonna sneeze if I keep this. Give it to Gaurangi Devi. That's it. That's it. For you. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparantikam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 2, and the verse is number 100, right? 100. Hey. No, that's not it. Is this 100? Hey Chaya Rupe, Aya Ananta Viveda.
Wrong one.
Huh?
Must have written the wrong one. Sorry.
The wrong one?
The wrong one.
This is the 100. That's what they told me. This is what 100 says.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's written on the board, but it's the wrong verse.
Huh?
It's written on the board.
The wrong verse.
Like the wrong verse.
So I'll read it. Hey Chaya Rupe Hayananta Vibeda Ananta Rupe Karupanai Kichubeda. Alright? Hey. This. Chaya Rupe. In 6 forms. Haya. There are. Ananta. Unlimited. Vibeda. Varieties. Ananta Rupe. In unlimited forms. Ekarupa,
Ekarupa,
one form.
one form.
Nahi,
Nahi,
there is not.
there is not.
Kichu,
Kichu,
any.
any.
Beda,
Veda,
difference.
difference.
Translation. In Sangita, in these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead manifests himself in 6 different features: Prabhava, Vaibhava, empowered incarnations, partial incarnations, childhood, and boyhood. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, whose permanent feature is adolescence, enjoys his transcendental proclivities by performing pastimes in these 6 forms. In these 6 features, there are unlimited divisions of the personality of Godhead's forms. The jivas, or living beings, are differentiated parts and parcels of the Lord. They are all diversities of one without a second, of the one without a second, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse again. In these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. Mukham karoti vachalam pangurangayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Once in a class, Srila Prabhupada said, or early classes said, this could be a little complicated, about the forms. But basically, this is all well explained in detail in the 20th chapter of Madhya Lila. Lord Chaitanya instructs Srila Sanatana Goswami. And as it has been mentioned here, there are unlimited forms of Godhead. Swayam, there are different kinds of divisions. Swayam, Tadikatma, Avesha, that's a kind of division. Those who are personal form, those who are a little different, Tadikatma, Avesha, those who are empowered. And why? You can hear? Oh, what? Okay, like this?
Much better.
Much better. Okay. Better? Is it too loud? It's okay. Okay. Is it broadcasted? Whatever. So.
YouTube.
Okay. So there are these differentiations, and there are further differentiations in his forms. Like, for example, when he goes to from Vrindavan, where is his Swayam Roop, original Roop, he goes to Mathura and Devaki and Vasudeva, then his forms are Vaibhava or Prabhava. Prabhava is Vaibhava when he's 2-armed, Prabhava when he's 4-armed. And and so on. There are different kinds of differentiations. Now here, this Prabhav and Vaibhav forms are unlimited. Balaram is Vaibhav, is a Vaibhav Prakash form of the Lord. Is Bhav means emotion, or Vaibhav indicates emotion also. Vai means certain emotion. So Balaram is Krishna himself, but there is some emotional difference. He feels like a servant of Krishna and the elder brother. But it's himself, but in a different capacity. Prabhu said there's no difference. Only one is white, one is black. But Balaram has 98% of the qualities. Another way to understand the expansions is the percentage of qualities that are present in the expansion. So it's, just like this, just to enumerate some, from Balaram. Then you have these Prabhavilas, which are, the Vasudeva, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and then they have their own Vaibhavilas, like the 12 signs that we put on the tilak. Vasudev, the expansions are Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Shankarshan, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, Pradyumna, Trivikram, Vamana, and Shridhar, and then Aniruddha, Rishikesh, Padmanabha, and Damodar, and also the 12 months. So they are unlimited, and then there is the Avesha, the empowered incarnation. Some of them are Vishnu Tattva, some of them are, living entities which are empowered. Some are partial, like Matsya, Kurma, etc. There's so many. And but the real thing is, they are all one. That's the inconceivability of the thing. There is also a chapter in the TLC, one of the first books that Prabhupada wrote. His forms are all in the same, are one and the same. I think that's the. So this is inconceivable for us, because already it's inconceivable how a form can be unlimited. When you're talking about form in the material world, means delimitation, delineation, right? It contains a space or a form of time. It contains. It's a container. It's a limitation. But how can a form be unlimited? It's contradictory. An unlimited form is a contradiction in terms. So already that is difficult to understand, right? Then the parchireva ida santarma vyupetya dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yastadrigeva icha vishnutaya vivati govinda mahadipurushantamam. Then he expands unlimitedly his unlimited form. So an unlimited number, an infinite number of unlimited forms, it's already another contradiction. They are one and the same. But if one form in the material world, if it's his form, it can be his form. They may be brothers also, they look like a little bit, but one form is one form, is not the other form. It can't be one and the same, because, it's another type of contradiction. It's a heavy contradiction, right? And there is even more, and it's important. When he expands his unlimited form, each one is individual. It's not like a television broadcast that the face of the guy who's speaking is in 50 million televisions. Once I had the fortune to present the Bhagavad Gita with Modi in Delhi, and I had to give a lecture, and there were 700 million people in India watching in English. I was scared, but somehow or other went well. But so my face, and they put me on the newspaper, my face went on I don't know how many millions of televisions, but I was doing the same thing. Now Krishna, when he expands, he doesn't do the same thing. Even as his Vaibhav Vilas with the queens of Vrindavan, with the queens of Dwarka, each one is doing a different thing. And it's fully an individual. So when he expands, he's fully individual. And that's the third part of his inconceivability. That when he looks at himself, like is that in the Lalita Madhava somewhere? Vasudev, a form of, Vasudev Shankarshan, Vasudev, sees Krishna in Dwarka, and he becomes enamored by him. He becomes excited. It's himself. But then he sees a form of himself and says, oh, what a wonderful, you know what I mean? So that's also inconceivable. I mean, do you go in the mirror in the morning and say, oh, beautiful. I'm so surprised to see, You see, it doesn't happen, So it's also inconceivable. So how is that possible? It is possible, and it is possible for Krishna, because he is totally different, diametrically different from anything that we may conceive in this world. And there is a term that defines him, agata gatana patiyas. Means he can make the impossible possible. Agata gatana patiyas. That is it, which is impossible. Unlimited form. Possible. Unlimited number of forms, they're one and the same form. Possible. It makes it possible. And it becomes surprised because they are all individuals. So when he sees another form of himself, it makes it possible. And he's really surprised. It's not that he's faking it, Vasudeva in Dwarka. So, no, it's really surprised and excited like this. And this is all due to his position, which is inconceivable. What's that? Virodha Bhanjika Shakti. Virodha Bhanjika Shakti means he can reconcile all contradictions. Because he is the source of everything. He is the original. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karam. There is no principle or concept that is antecedent or that exists prior to him. He is the original. He is the origin of everything. So anything, any laws or any concepts or any idea that we may have, it just comes from him. And he is absolutely free to change it. Just like Vasudeva is the Lord of the Brahmajyoti. He expands the Brahmajyoti. And Brahmajyoti, Sat, the Sat part of the Lord. So Krishna controls also eternity. And his Sat is not that, something is, I created that form, and now it's eternal because it's Sat, I can't do anything about it. No. He controls eternity. He is beyond eternity. It's not only beyond the phases of time, the destructive time, past, present, and future, as he said in Bhagavad, but he is also beyond eternity. He is his energy. He's controlling there, as he's controlling his Sanvit or Chita aspect and his Ladini aspect, even though he becomes controlled because he likes to be controlled by the Ladini. But so this incredible position of Krishna, he says, Janma karma chame dibyam evanyo vititattvada tyaktadeam punarjam naitimam is. What does he mean? It means that if you understand his inconceivability, that's the point. If you understand and accept his inconceivability, that's the meaning of Janma karma chame. Then you understand his birth. He doesn't take birth, but he takes birth. It's a contradiction. His activities, they are beyond time, beyond space. Whatever he does, andantarasta paramano chayantari. Whatever, he can be out. Everything is contained in him. And then he's also in the atom. Like when he expands, it's just how can he do that? He is personal and impersonal at the same time. There are contradictions, but they coexist, these features of him. So accept his inconceivable nature, his inconceivability, his inconceivable power, achintya shakti. Once you accept that, and you understand that the origin of everything must have that quality, must have that characteristic, then you're free. Then you understand. Then you start to understand Krishna, who cannot be really understood let's be clear, with the material intelligence, but at least you understand what is not. Is not part of this material world. Is not part of, is not material creation, like the Mayavadis say. You know, Mayavadis, for the Mayavadis, everything, you know, the only opposite to this world, to the multifarious forms of this world, activities. Are you tired, Prabhu? Huh? Take rest. Come on. No, it's trying to remain awake. So, Hare Krishna. You want some water? So, what was I? Yeah, the Mayavadis. You know, for them, you know, that's really, if you want to talk about inconceivable stupidity, you know, unlimited stupidity, that's theirs, you know, because, you know, they say that there is an entity which is one. Is conscious, but is one. It's tantamount to say that is impersonal, that is not an individual. Yeah, but is the only individual. Now, a sole individual is not an individual. Because to be an individual, you got to relate with somebody else. Otherwise, what kind of individual are you? No? I mean, I'm the only existing individual. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Okay, so they say that this unlamenting, eternal, limitless individual, or impersonal individual, is there rolling his thumbs or botham gazing. He doesn't even have a botham, you know, to gaze, because, you know, it's formless, you know, otherwise he would have something, a form to deal with. So at one point, the Pradhan, you know, the principal, the chief, the Pradhan comes out and he says, okay, let me become God, the living entities, the servants of God. There's a guy, I mean, Sadananda yogi, you know, follower of Shankaracharya, you know, propound this theory. The first illusion is God, the idea of God, then the servants of God, and then the energies like that. That's really crazy. How would it be? Why is you know? It's so annoyed, it's so boring to be, you know, unlimitedly existing, and you know that it decides to become Hitler, you know, the Jews, you know, Biafra, or you know, Burkina Faso and Ukraine. Yeah, it becomes Zelensky or Putin or you know whatever it is. You know, now we get so there is always something boiling in this material. It decides to become this. It becomes the dim. What? For what? To suffer? Prabhupada said, Lila, suffering is not Lila. The suffering of this material world is not a Lila. Lila means enjoyment. And therefore, this idea, impersonal idea, is total idiocy or stupidity. And the fact is they would not be able to explain why forms exist. The archetypes, to use the term, you know, the original form must be there in the source, in the origin. The relationships must be there, only that they are free from inebriety, they're free from limitations. So the forms there are incredible in the spiritual world. We think that we'll find similar forms to this. One sense they are similar in the sense that, you know, they are forms, but they are unlimited. Even the living entity is form. The form is a form of devotion, okay, of devotional service, of love of God. And that love can expand. It's meant to expand. It's not a static, you know, idle thing. So your form in the spiritual world is also ever expanding. That's another type of form that we have taken here. Here we have taken just cages, you know. How is your cage today? How is your prison today? Okay, so it's like Durga. So it's totally different. These forms, you know, it's ours, will be ours, sentient, full, you know, pure sentience. As you say that in English, sentient. and eternality and love and bliss, cognizance like that. It's an all different world, and it's a all different life. Now, it must be like that, otherwise we have to think that the origin is schizophrenic. It's got some problems. That's why some people become atheist, they condemn existence, nihilism, to annihilate everything. The origin, look what he has done. His message. What was that? Your French philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, said, the hell is the others. He said that. Of course he was eating snails all the time in Chaparral. Probably his brain got a little twisted by the snails. But he knows hell is the others. In other words, diversity is hell. So kill everything. This, make everything zero, like Prabhupada says, make everything zero. Yeah. Because they don't understand. They think that they can understand the transcendence, the transcendental entity with their puny brains, teeny brains. And then what you get to? You get to something opposite to this existence. And you say, oh, if misery means personalities, forms, etc., time, then, the opposite must be true, that bliss must be no forms, no activities, nothing. But then they don't explain why this world exists. They can't. They have no explanation. And they said it doesn't exist. No, Prabhupada, And Prabhupada used to say, bring him here, I'll kick him on the mouth with boot. No, not just with the foot, but with the boot. So he feels that somehow or other this is existing. If you get kicked on the mouth with a boot, on the face with a boot, you feel it. You can say, no, it doesn't exist, the boot doesn't exist, the face doesn't exist. You can't do that, They bring you to the hospital and they say, it's like that. So, Krishna is really inconceivably wonderful and incredible. And all these forms, all these, even Radharani also, she has her Prabhu and Vilasa expansion, Vaibhava and Prabhu expansions, the gopis, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Pratibhavita, Vistavirya Eva, Nijarupa, Tayakalabhide, he expands, it's her in a different expansion. Then the Vaibhava parts are the queens in Dwarka, like that. So you can never be tired to stay in the spiritual world, with Krishna. So let's go back and try to see how inconceivable he is. Isn't that exciting? I mean, even Vasudeva, even his form is excited to see him work. I mean, what about us? We should, when we go back, what a surprise. Okay? Sorry, I'll stop here. Am I on time? Yeah? Okay. Any questions or comments? Maharaj, please. Correct what I said wrong.
Thank you, very wonderful class. We have another 30 minutes if you want.
It's
an incredible lot in a very short time.
I am, I am nothing, but I am accustomed. I had the fortune by Srila Prabhupada, living in India, and I saw Srila Prabhupada giving classes, and many times. Bhagavad Gita in Bombay he gave for a long, and of course Chaitanya Charitamrita in Mayapur, and he wouldn't give long classes.
Sometimes he would.
But rarely.
Some classes over an hour.
Yeah, but quite rarely. I'm afraid, that if I give a long class, see that apart from him, that it was, going down with it. But that the devotees surrender because they are taken by siege. Okay, so give me some water and some, they're there, and it's okay. I surrender everything you said, So I try to give.
The thing was then, the devotees used to get more than one class a day. Nowadays they rarely get more than one class a day. We had 5 classes a day when I joined.
5 classes a day, and you survived?
Not everybody attended all 5 classes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Every day, 5 classes.
My God.
Now
they really get 1.
Sometimes 2 if there is Gita. Prabhupada wanted Bhagavatam and Gita.
That was
The standard, yeah.
But even they have it in many temples, hardly anybody attends. They have it at the manor, 3 or 4 guests, 1 devotee.
Oh yeah, I'm getting depressed now. But okay, you just remind, if I relate a personal experience with. In Mumbai, Srila Prabhupada, because okay, if I mention some other incarnation, whatever I remember, I may make a mistake also. Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai in '74 was not giving Bhagavatam in the morning. In the morning, he would go and walk on the beach with Giriraj Maharaj calling for everyone, Prabhupada is waiting, So sometimes he'd go and Prabhupada would comment things while walking on the beach, and he would give Bhagavad Gita class in the evening. Very nice Bhagavad Gita classes. And I remember I was a young devotee, Maharaj, a young, just initiated brahmachari. So, and my English wasn't so, and it's not developed now, but at that time it was really rudimentary, to say the least. Sometimes a concept that Prabhupada would, explain would come through. Maybe he has said it, 10 times before, 20 times, but then you understood it, at that point, So he was given a Bhagavad Gita class, and all the great devotees were there in front, Sannyasi, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Paramahansa, some devotees you may not know. But, they were all there, sitting there in front of Prabhupada. It was a small, not many, 20 devotees altogether, we were 20, 25. And I was sitting in the back, and Prabhupada said something very simple, something like that, to identify with the body is foolishness, something like that. And, it came to me like, a revelation. So, I laughed. So, so everyone turned. TKG, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, turn around, it was like, if he could incinerate me, he would have done it, all that. So, a few seconds, silent, and then Prabhupada started laughing. And he repeated the thing, yes, it's fully. And then everyone started laughing with Prabhupada, it was a relief, but it was nice. He would give class in the evening, and what can I say? More than in the inconceivability of Prabhupada. We could talk about the inconceivability of Srila Prabhupada, or Krishna's servant. He was so. How could he tolerate, not to go to Jean-Paul Sartre, how he could tolerate devotees and their misgivings. Like in the morning, sometimes Prabhupada would be waiting for 15 minutes even. The devotees wake up to go to the morning walk. you know, I remember he had this japa mala in front of the small temple in Mumbai, you know, the little temple, and Giriraj Maharaj was running around, he was brahmachari at the time, he running around, come on, Prabhu, what is very good? And no, I can get up, you know, okay. And it was like this. And so he tolerated so many things. And of course, we know in the Lilamrita, he tolerated so many things in the beginning. So the inconceivable tolerance of Srila Prabhupada. And even though anyhow, I don't want to be polemical, but when even devotees betrayed him, you know, and left him and criticized him even so much, he had to suffer, you know, from, you know, there's no worse suffering than when you, something that you endear, you know, to you, and that you cultivate, that you help, that you grow, you know, turns against you or something. So, Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada was perfect in his titikshava, karunika, in his tolerance and his mercy. Only an empowered incarnation. He was an Avesha. He is Avesha. Avesha means, you know, like, for example, going back to the verse, you know, there are some empowered, like Prithu Maharaj, the ruling, Narada Muni, giving bhakti to others, even to a snake. to make a cobra devotee, it's like, no, it may sound, you know, like, you know, fictional, but it's not. It's true. He could make a cobra a devotee. One lady in India about 8-9 years ago, she married a cobra. Yes, you look in the news. She said, he was my husband in my previous life. A cobra, a real king cobra. So they celebrated the marriage. The cobra wasn't there because otherwise the invitees would have not showed up, you know. So they made a brass thing of the cobra, and she got married. And she lived with the cobra, feed him, you know, like that.
She lived with the actual cobra, not the brass one. With the real cobra.
She lived with the real cobra and fed him. And I don't know if she's still alive. I don't know. It was 8-9 years. Maybe. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to know. But I really hope they didn't have a quarrel, because otherwise, you know, between husband and wife, you know, the husband, a human husband can slap, you know, or do something. The cobra, you know, probably bite her, kill her. So, I don't know about the offspring. I'll investigate. But so, you know, but going back, Narada Muni, he made a cobra a devotee, and Mrigari, you know, this. So these empowerments, and Prabhupada made us devotees. You know, it'll be written in the future Bhagavatam. There'll be, you know, whatever, some saying, I don't know, where we go that, Prabhupada should speak only from Shastra, and whatever, you know, whatever, the old polemic. But in the future, what Prabhupada said will be Shastra. Just like when we read Bhagavatam, what is Bhagavatam? Discourses, you know, exchanges, question and answers, right? That's it. Sukadeva, Parikshit, Sutta, Goswami, other, you know, Maitreya, Vidura, you know, it's like that. And that's Shastra. So what Prabhupada said, will be Shastra in the future, you know. So, and as now we get this story that Narada made a cobra, a devotee, a Mrigari, there will be a Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami, the empowered, you know, incarnation, made freaks, hippies, madhouse guys, you know, mental hospital recruits, you know, whatever it is, devotees. Drug addicts, you know,
Criminals also. Criminals.
Criminals. One devotee, one good brothers of us, Chaitanya Jivan, you know? You know him, must be known. He came into the Miami temple with the car running, and the temple and the car had all bullet, holes. He was running away. Someone shoot him, and he came in and he said, "I join," and the temple he joined, like that, with a car full of bullet holes, yeah. So and that will be in the future Bhagavatam. So, and Prabhupada will be recognized as an empowered incarnation, an Avesha. Maharaj, please. I'm speaking too much.
One thing, a question, but can I just read something from Prabhupada first?
Absolutely, Maharaj.
This may, I hope it doesn't depress you. The question will enlighten you, so I'll read the depressed first.
Okay.
Here's Prabhupada wrote to Rameshwar in 1973. It has been brought to my attention that some of my students are not studying. I do not know if this applies to you or the devotees under your care, but I must stress again, we must have our classes 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening.
Okay.
And the devotees must also chant regularly their 16 rounds and follow the principles. The rest of the time I may go on distribution of my books. I hope you will do the needful. Anyway, it's just sometimes Prabhupada did also, especially for us. Because the same, Prabhupada books together. We've got to hear also very carefully. And the question is, this is not a very complicated question, but perhaps a lot of us are not quite clear on it. The position of Srila Vyasadeva as the
he's an empowered incarnation.
Literary incarnation of Godhead. And then Prabhupada writes, so empowered, you're saying Shakta.
Yeah, it's a Shaktavesha. It's listed in the, is mentioned in the,
yeah. And then in the future, many Vyasadevas, so it's a title, isn't it? It's not.
you're not saying that sarcastically, no.
Well, not sarcastic in one sense, but is it literally a person? Is that it? Full stop. The same person? Was it anyone like Srila Prabhupada? In one sense, he's also Vyas. He's presenting the,
This is the Vyasa son.
The Vyasa son.
Yeah.
So he's presenting the same truth. Is it like the same person? I mean, Prabhupada writes that in the future there will be many Vyasas. I think Prabhupada writes that. Maybe, yeah. What's his name? About Chaitanya Bhagavat?
Yeah. Oh. Then because he is the new is the Vyasa for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. Vrindavan Dasta.
So in the future there will be many more Vyasas who will come and further this, like you just said just now.
The answer is Krishna is unlimited and can be one Vyasa and many Vyasas, even it's contradictory. I would, besides this kind of answer, I would say that Vyasa is an individual, particular devotee that has been empowered, an empowered incarnation, Vyasadeva. There are other Vyasas, in my understanding, in the sense that, like we use the Vyasa son or whatever, they will be able to, like that particular Vyasadeva, to recall, relate, Shastra. That, at this moment, being still in this material world, I don't know. In other words, I don't recall, jokes aside, I don't recall reading anything that says that is the same living, the only, that particular living entity empowered will be Vyasa for all universes, for all Lilas, for all, whatever. I don't recall, I never read it. Maybe I missed it, I missed so many things. But the function, probably the function, they are referring to the function, that the function can be performed by by many, like Prabhupada. In one sense, we can call him our Vyas, you know, but it's not that he's the same living entity, Vyasadeva, that went and spoke to Nanda, you know, like that. Maharaj, that's okay. Any other questions? You know, okay. She was first, then Gorangi. Say your name, right?
Thank you for the first. It's mentioned a few times by Srila Prabhupada how it's important to take up some responsibility for Krishna, for the movement. What made you decide to take some responsibility in ISKCON?
I was forced. You know, like every, no, it's I don't know. They when I was in Mayapur, they made me the temple commander, and I said, yeah, you know. When then I went to Calcutta. They asked me to do service, and I took it. You know, I saw it was necessary, and I took it up. That's all. You know, when the Prabhupada used to say, "Do the needful." So when you see a needful, you better do something.
You never really questioned it, did you? If you were asked to do a responsible service, you just accepted it.
Yeah.
Practically speaking.
Yeah. It looks like, you know, I don't want to be, you know, I'm not proud about it, but, you know, I hope I'm not. But I never said no. Even this time, you remember in the GBC board, I thought he was my friend, but, you know, he betrayed me in the GBC meeting, and him and Anuttama, you know, I already been the chairman 3 times in the GBC. So they proposed that I become the chairman one more time, didn't you? So for the first time I said, and I decline, you know, I don't want to, you know, it's but then I felt bad, I said, okay, I don't decline, but please don't vote me on. I told the other GBC men, and somehow or other, thanks Krishna, they didn't vote me on, you know. But I think, you know, we have to follow in the footsteps. Of course, we can't imitate, you know, Anukara, Anusara. We can't imitate Srila Prabhu. I mean, you know, it was 24 hours, practically speaking. Even when he used to take rest sometimes, you know, it was like translating taking rest on the Gadi. And who can do that, you know? It's like nobody can do that. So, but, you know, one thing we have to follow in his footsteps, you know, being engaged, when there is a need, when, you know, we make ourselves available and do some service. I think that's a way to honor him, you know, not imitating, but, you know, doing as much as we can. As much as we can, not more than we can, okay? Okay, Gorangi Devi. Yes, your name is Gorangi, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you said that in the future, something that Prabhupada said will be Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Okay, but Prabhupada said some controversial statements, I think this is. And the other day I was listening to a class, Mahatma Prabhu, very early. He said something that Prabhupada said, maybe if devotees had told him that it would be counterproductive.
What is the word is good? What? What did you say? What did Mahatma Prabhu? He gave a class, and he said what?
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me repeat.
Yeah. That he said that Prabhupada said something.
Certain things controversial. I will quote. The intelligence of the woman is also always inferior to the intelligence of the man. So he said something like that.
It go in the Bhagavatam? You asking if he go in the future Bhagavatam a statement like this?
I'm not asking, I'm making a comment.
It's already there.
And I'm making a comment that he said if somebody had told Prabhupada that it could be counterproductive, turn people away from Krishna consciousness. Maybe he would have deleted from his books, because it
All right.
is controversial.
All right. So, first of all, there is we never make a mistake by taking a humble position. It's never a mistake. Having said that means I'm born an Italian Sudra in Kali, or whatever, Yavan as a Turk, whatever, in Kali Yuga, it says things about birth that, if I had shown my grandfather who said, what do you think, Viva l'Italia, I fought against the Germans and the Austrians, I feel that what he said is true. Okay, I'm a low-born person in Kali Yuga. So taking a humble position is never wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that in the Bhagavad, future Bhagavad, when I say that, there'll be, for example, Prabhupada says, I'm just throwing it there, that the distance between this temple and the Burdwan station, station in Burdwan, is X kilometers, right? Now, it's not the one goes there with the laser, oh, it's 3 kilometers less. So it's it's not true. It's not or some other even crazier says no. The station is here. Is that we don't see it, because it must be here because the Acharya said the station is here. So certain statements are contingent, time, place, and circumstance. Not that everything will go. It's not that we get to know. I mean, we get to know stories from the Bhagavatam. We don't get to know what I don't know. Gajendra did after he got rescued, what he did, if he had other small elephants, the children, we don't know, because he became Indradyumna again, okay, but we don't get to know every detail, okay, we get to know the basic principle, that's what will be. Now, if I don't know, I wasn't there at that class, but I personally don't agree that that we have to sort of curate, Prabhupada's books. An intelligent devotee can understand when Prabhupada in the books mentions that the most beautiful women are the Mediterranean, is in the books. It's not in. The most beautiful women are in the Mediterranean.
In the what?
Mediterranean, the Mediterranean Sea, Mediterraneo. It's here, France, Italy, okay? Imagine, now see all smiling, that section, So he says that, not necessarily that has to be, go into the future bug. There are certain things, an intelligent devotee reads certain things. Certain things are fundamental and absolute. Certain things are contingential. And it doesn't take this statement, as important as, the Prabhu, Vilas, or whatever statements, just a minute, give me a minute. So, but if that, and I hope not, because I've heard these things, is if these kind of statements are given in a class to sort of, relativize Srila Prabhupada and, well then, or because, some ladies, Vaishnavis, are, they feel humiliated or disturbed by these kind of statements, then I will inform you that the worst declarations on the ladies' position, of women position, are done by ladies, like the Apsara, Urvasi, I think. You know, she talks about the women, man, you know. I never heard the men talking about women like that, you know. So, you know, tough, you know, very, you know. So that's in the Bhagavatam. You can go and say, wait a minute, Indra, Urvasi, you know, that, you know, we have to rewrite the Bhagavatam, what Urvasi says, it's offensive, you know, it may be counterproductive for preaching. What do? You cut the Bhagavatam like this, you know, Urvasi, no, put it aside, and when they churn the arms of Vena, a short black guy comes out, you know. Take it away, you know, this, you know, the old people in, you know, in whatever, Africa, they get disturbed. What can we do? You know, take a humble position, just like we were reading certain things, the Prabhupada, you know, in the Bhagavatam also, but also it said about black. And Devamrita Maharaj, you know, who is black, you know, said, Prabhupada saved me. Like that, beautiful, you know. Prabhupada, you know, it's not, save me from thinking that I'm a black man, or I'm Italian, or I'm French. Otherwise, what we do, like, there was a king here in France. You know this term, adusum del... What is this tak that I hear? Sorry. Thank you so much. A term, adusum delphini, in Latin. Okay, you know French history much better than I do. There was a king, I can't remember which one, Louis, you know, one of the Louis, you know, that he wanted his son, the dolphin, the dauphin. Okay, pronounce, okay, dauphin, is that right? He wanted to have an idea of the history of the world in which France was paramount. France has always been the best. No, of course, okay, I know that you think like this, but, you know, but, you know, in reality may be a little different, but, you know, so he told the scholars, historians, to rewrite things. Oh, in this battle, France lost. No, they didn't lose. They just parted away. One went one way. You know, so the guy, you know. So there is a term, adusum delphini, when you change something to make it appeasing for someone, you know. In that case was his son. In the other case, it's, you know, you curate, you know, you cure the thing. It's not good. We shouldn't do that on Srila Prabhupada's books. And you should be intelligent. When you read them, you read the Bhagavatam, then if there are passages which are, you know, talking about the hippies, you know, there are no more hippies now, right? Few maybe, some hippie, you know, some old guys, you know, the white hair with the, you know, they're falling apart, right? But, you know, so there are other types. So this contingential is just other things are fundamental. So a devotee has the intelligence to discriminate when he reads. And there is no need to curate or change some other, make exegesis or you know, hermeneutical study and cut of his books. No, we don't do that. Okay, now the last question. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful class.
No, I don't know if it was
encapsulated very nicely. Nivishesha Shunyavadi.
Thank you.
Masterfully presented.
I'm going to eat some grass now outside.
Question two is, things may change. You know, the internet has brought a lot of attention span of the youth and things like that. How can we, take the battle further in this present circumstances?
Well, we just pray that there may be devotees that can use that instrument without getting caught, because it's like a world. It can be an horrible world. So just like the external, that virtual world is even more horrible. And we, at least I don't know here, but in Italy, for example, there, the dark web, kids go in and do, and one just killed mother, father, and younger brother. Another one, and everything is broadcasted, and the sense of emulation, emulative, you did this, and of course justice. They stay in jail for 10 years, then they get out, 15 years or whatever. So I really pray that there's some devotees that can catch the fish without getting wet. Prabhupada said, if I use the catch the fish without getting wet, which is, very difficult. But if there are devotees expert in that, they will be like warriors, web warriors that preach Krishna consciousness in a very difficult environment. And I can just, it's not going to be me. I hardly can use my phone and the computer. So I'm 73 years old. I've done my part. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada Vijay, by Maharaja's transcendental power and influence. 1 hour. 1 hour. Oh, I'm over time now. Okay. I'm over time. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada Vijay. Thank you so much.